Hey everybody out there, Debo here. If you're checking out this video, you're probably coming from the guide or wherever I direct you from to this video, maybe from the Twitch chat. This is going to talk about the brief overview of my best time that I got. I do believe it was 5:33 using the Tiki and T6 speedrun build. If you guys didn't know, this is like pretty much the second part in the form of two different guides. The first one was the Speed J T6 run build, where it's just showcasing in case you wanted to speed farm on a witch doctor and you didn't want to re-roll a monk or barbarian, which are the superior classes to speed running the T6 content. I came up with two different types of build, one that uses pets, one that doesn't, and with the ability to make it so that we can just, if you want to speed run through certain content and you don't want to waste too much time and what have you not, you can get straight to the point and start getting those bounty rift keys for for the T6 runs, and do your T6 runs fast so you can get those trial keys. But we're gonna go ahead and get this video started. Again, as I always tell you guys, is that if you really want the fastest class to farm T6, that is going to be a monk, or that is going to be a barbarian. But if you don't want to re-roll those classes and you love witch doctor, here's a nice little alternative that you can run that works out pretty well. The biggest thing I noticed with the speedrunning of the, the bounties is that the biggest thing is to save the most time is to only focus on the objectives. And that's my phone dying. So the main thing you see here is I'm running the Tickling Visage build with Zuni Masa for the damage amp, and then I'm also using Rachel's Ring of Larceny. Every time I fear, I get a speed increase. As you can see, I'm running Wreath of Lightning. Every time that goes off, I get a speed increase, and every time I got Boon of Hoarder, every time I run over the gold, I get a speed increase. So between all that, I'm running Horrify with Stalker, which gives me also another speed increase. I'm able to run through the environment, do what I gotta do, and just simply focus on the objective. So right here, you see me clearing out most of the monsters, and I skip basically any monsters in between. Keep up my speed, and everything I fear in combination with that fear aura from the Tickling Helm. As soon as I get to an enemy, if I'm using Stalker, as soon as I get next to an enemy, it will trigger the ring, give me my speed increase, and I can keep moving from area to area very quickly. And as you can see, I'm just running through here. On this map, a specific bounty, on the Triune Reborn, like I said, you just focus on killing the monsters around the monuments so you can activate them. As you see, I just ran through all of them, activating the monument. And then as soon as I get finished, I will dart out of there. So, got some pretty good RNG on these set of bounties, so most of them pretty straightforward. As soon as I get it, as you can see, I'm on to the next area. And I think I got hit by enemy or I misclicked or something like that, but as you can see now, I'm on the next area. Kill Rhaega's Grimlow. There's two different ways you can do it. You can get your 75 monsters right away, and then go look for the Grimlow or whatever the name monster is. I kind of do it half and half. I try to get towards about 50, and then after that I'll dart and look immediately for the name monster. If you decide to go for the name monster that's first, that's fine, but then you might have to backtrack and kill some enemies. And if you kill the enemies first, well, then you can just go look for the name mob. But luckily I got the name mob. It was pretty close. We were all the way close to the 75 goal, so he's about to go down with the additional enemies that we're killing over here. And like I said, now I'm just looking for the remaining amount of enemies so I can get to 75 and then teleport on to the next place. So however you want to handle it, that's perfectly fine. Whether you want to kill the first 75 enemies and look for the name, or look for the name first and backtrack a little bit and kill 75. That's usually how I handle that. So looking pretty good right here at 250 with two bounties down. Cleanse a cursed chest. This one is pretty straightforward, but I started developing a tactic when you get to these cursed chests, which is basically if it's pretty close to where you spawned in at, come in, spawn the chest, head over to another area, and then just do another bounty, then come back and do it, because you have to wait 37 or 40 seconds before that event finishes. So while that event is going off, I'm just going to go ahead and go into a new area. And then the cool thing about it is, since I'm not killing any enemies, there's not going to be a lot of enemies I have to kill. So when I return back to that place, all I got to do is just go back, clean up the monsters that are there, and then open the chest, and the event's done. Or I think the event, it finishes immediately as I kill the enemies. So right now I'm just running through, this is pretty much how I handle the Fields of Misery. I just basically sprint around. I usually like to go straight down or straight up. Hopefully I can catch that little arrow that points me over to the objective, which I did. Kara's Den is always going to be a full clear of all the monsters inside, so I just take my time as I approach in here. You don't have to worry about going to a floor level 2, but you do have to worry about killing all the monsters on this floor. Now keep in mind that 40 seconds I was ticking for the chest is back in the other area, so we don't have to worry about that just yet. And like I said, just getting in there, fetishes are doing their damage, Grasp of Dead, Circle of Power from the Oculus Ring, I do believe, on my Enchantress to up the damage. We got through this area just fine, and I do believe I head right back to the Cathedral. And then when I head back to the Cathedral, all I gotta do is just go back and clean up everything. So this actually ended up working out pretty well. As you see, I'm going through, all the monsters are there. All I gotta do is just kill the remaining monsters. So I get myself on the lower floor, start killing all these monsters and stuff like that. And it looks like everything's gonna be cleaned up in a moment. And then towards the last area, so I got everything, and then the last area, I gotta see what it is. I didn't get to see what I clicked on. Last area is going to be, yeah, the Eternal War. This one was real easy. So basically, this didn't take no time at all. So I got lucky with the RNG. The arrows pulled me right in direction. I knew where I needed to go. Very short event on the Eternal War. So the biggest thing is, the fastest time period to get bounties done is always doing it in a group and doing it with a split party where everybody does their own bounty. That's the fastest. If you're talking about solo wise, then that's going to be a monk or a barbarian. If you're talking about solo witch doctor, as in you just want to play your witch doctor and speedrun your witch doctor, I would have to say Tickling of Visage or Rachel's Ring of Larceny is by far, bar none, the fastest you can do for bounties, because you can go through objectives, you can speed through different, it has so much movement speed between the Stalker, increasing movement speed, the Spirit Walk, the effect of the Rachel Rings of Larceny, Wreath of Lightning, and the Boon of Horror. It just gives you so much movement speed, so you can skip through a lot of stuff you don't need to, focus on the objective, and get the bounties completed as quickly as possible. I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down a little bit, and I want to take a look at the time real quick. For the overall time for everything considered, 7 minutes and 16 seconds to clear a T6 bounty. On my best trial, which was I do believe the second one, I averaged out a 6:53 average time. Total time spent was 1 hour and 8 minutes for 10 bounty bags. So 1 hour pretty much kind of like 10 bags, which is not that bad. The power of the power of the Tickling of Visage just allows you to go through everything really quickly, because you don't have to stay in one spot. You always got a good way of speeding through everything, and you always got the movement speed increase. So if you're looking for a way to speed through bounties, and you're just trying to get a lot of key rift shards for the the T6 rifts, and then also to make the T6 rifts to get the trial rift keys, and you just need to speed through bounties real quick, I'd have to say for a witch doctor, it's very solid. Plus, with all the movement speed, you can keep up with everybody. The damage is not as great as a Jade build, but it definitely will get the job done. But, there you go. 5:33 for the fastest bounty time I got to get all 5 bounties. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to, this is the first video you looked at, you should have checked out the first video about the Tickling T6 speedrun farm build or whatever. That will tell you all the build, the setup, the paragons, what gear I use, blah, 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 blah. And there should be a link to the guide in the description. And, if you want to see the T6 Rift version, how fast that went, you can check that out in the other video. And of course, if you want to see the previous guide, the Jade speedrun build, make sure you guys check that out there. But this time I'll hopefully remember to put annotations everywhere so you guys can know where you need to click and where you need to go. Anyways, enough talking. My name is Debo, and I hope you guys have a good day.